The International Center for Yoga Education and Research is located in Pondicherry, India, under the direction of Dr. Ananda Balayogi Bhavanani. The vision of ICYER is to foster the traditional teaching of yogic and Vedic culture as it has been passed on in India for millennia. This vision has two complementary facets. The first is the Ananda Ashram, a traditional gurukulam for yogic studies. The second is Yoganjali Natyalayam, an educational center for children and adolescents in the traditional arts of yoga, Bharatanatyam, traditional South Indian dance, and Carnatic vocal music. The history of ICYER goes back more than 150 years to Sri Kambaliswamy, a great saint of Tamil Nadu. His lineage has been continued by 7 successive generations of gurus. The most well-known of these in recent times is the yoga master Maharishi Swami Gitananda Giri, who entered Mahasamadhi in 1993. The lineage is now continued by his wife, Yogacharini Meenakshi Devi Bhavanani, and his son, Dr. Ananda Balayogi Bhavanani. The tradition carried on by the Bhavanani family is called Rishi culture Ashtanga Yoga, or simply Gitananda Yoga. This tradition represents a living link to Hatha Yoga's history, in that it is over 150 years old and is a living connection to both the North Indian Bengali Tantric and South Indian Siddha Yoga traditions. Most Hatha Yoga traditions in India and in the world today are reflections of the Yoga Renaissance that began in the early 1920s. The Rishi culture tradition is unique in that it represents a direct link with the original texts of Hatha Yoga through both its northern and southern connections. Swami Gitananda Giri is one of the most important gurus within this tradition and is one of India's best known and most important spiritual teachers. He was born in northern India to an Indian father and Irish mother who converted to Hinduism. He spent his first years of schooling with Kanakananda Swami in the traditional Gurukulam system. He was quite content to concentrate on his studies of the Vedic sciences. It was his guru, however, who told him that he should develop a career and family. He went to England to study medicine at the age of 16, and later worked as a physician both in Canada and in the United States. In each locality, he spread the wisdom of yoga and was therefore one of the first pioneers to bring yoga to the West in the early 1950s. From 1968 until his samadhi on the 29th of December 1993, Swamiji offered a 6-month intensive yoga teacher training in Pondicherry. Swamiji's teaching is unique in the depth and variety of yogic techniques offered, sharing hundreds of asanas, kriyas, mudras, pranayamas, and Raja Yoga practices. Along his career, Swamiji published more than 25 books on yoga. As the Maharishi used to tell his students, "I will give you enough material to last several lifetimes." Swami Gitananda Giri was an embodiment of the ancient rishis. With a majestic manner and a powerful voice, he would sometimes tell his students, "I'm not here to make money or gain your votes. My joy is to help you grow, and to do that you must shed all the false conditioning that holds you back." Swamiji combined his inspiring manner of communicating yoga with a solid foundation in anatomy and physiology, based on his background as a medical doctor. This combination of in-depth understanding of the Tantra and yoga traditions, as well as Western physiology, makes Gitananda Yoga one of the earliest examples of yoga therapy, and one of the most unique and comprehensive yoga systems that India has produced. Since his Mahasamadhi, the Rishi culture lineage has been continued by Ammaji, Yogacharini Meenakshi Devi Bhavanani, whose life story is fascinating. She grew up in Minnesota in the United States and was pursuing a PhD when she reached a point in her life at which theory no longer gave her life meaning. She began traveling, first to Crete, where she picked up a small pocketbook on yoga and began to practice the postures and study the philosophy. From that first encounter with yoga, she knew intuitively that her destiny was linked to yoga. She traveled to India, where she immediately felt at home. Everything seemed familiar to her, as if she had lived there before. After living in several different areas of India, she found her way to Pondicherry, where she met her guru, Swami Gitananda, who later became her husband. Ammaji has also written 12 books, including the history of yoga from ancient to modern times. Ammaji describes the goal of all the training programs at Ananda Ashram and with the children as the creation of complete human beings, each of whom can recognize and manifest their full human and spiritual potential. The integration of traditional yoga practices with a scientific understanding of their benefits that was such an important part of Swami Gitananda's work is carried on by his son, Yogacharya Dr Ananda Balayogi Bhavanani. Ananda was raised in the Gurukulam atmosphere, where he received yogic training formally and informally, 24 hours a day. He took a special interest in Carnatic vocal music and Bharatanatyam dance, and excelled in both, along with more traditional pursuits of Indian youth, such as cricket. Through his medical studies and later through yoga research, Dr. Ananda has made major contributions to the understanding of yoga and health, and is considered one of India's leading yoga therapists. He currently practices yoga therapy in his capacity as Deputy Director at CITAR, Center for Yoga Therapy Education and Research, in the Mahatma Gandhi Medical College of the Sri Balaji Vidyapith University in Pondicherry. For Dr. Ananda, the breath is key to understanding how yoga influences health. As he explains, every cell of the body is breathing, and when those cells are breathing efficiently, then the health of the entire body is supported optimally. This focus on the breath can be seen in the variety of pranayama techniques used at Ananda Ashram. There are over 100 in all, and include exercises using both awareness and postures to direct the breath into every quadrant of the lungs, lower, middle, and upper, at both the front, sides, and back of the body. Hathanas are the series of 15 techniques that enhance one's conscious breathing into all bronchopulmonary segments of the lungs in Vibhaga Pranayama. This variety of methodologies and techniques with a strong physiological basis is the foundation of the 6-month residential yoga teacher training program. This training is offered in a traditional Gurukulam environment at the Ananda Ashram. The Ananda Ashram is located on the beach near Oroville, 10 kilometers outside of Pondicherry. The ashram receives refreshing sea breezes, especially in the winter months from October to March, when the training is held. Students also enjoy visiting nearby Pondicherry. The Gurukulam atmosphere means that students and teachers live together in the same ashram, sharing meals and all spiritual practices and daily activities. This can be seen in the way that Dr. Ananda's children have meals together with the students, and how the international yoga students become aunts and uncles for the teacher's children. Because Gurukulam life requires a certain level of preparation and maturity, students who participate in this program are asked to first complete a 1-year online study course so that they understand all the fundamentals of Rishi culture, Ashtanga yoga. During the 6-month yoga teacher training program, daily practices begin at 5:30 with Arati, where the students begin their day by taking in the light that symbolizes the light of knowledge that is awakened through their practices. After Arati, there is an extensive Hatha yoga class of approximately 2.5 hours, including both postures and breathing. These practices introduce the wide range of Gitananda yogic techniques, which include over 400 asanas, mudras, and kriyas. This class is held on a rooftop looking out over the ocean in order to absorb the maximum amount of prana and to allow the students to connect with the 5 elements. After breakfast, the students engage in various karma yoga duties around the ashram. An essential part of Gurukulam life is learning to live together, study together, and perform karma yoga together. Traditional Gurukulam life requires a letting go of the ego and awakening to a larger self so that limitations at the level of the personality are released in the spirit and intention of Swami Gitananda. At 11 a.m., there is a 1-hour-long pranayama class that goes well beyond the conventional pranayama techniques. These practices allow students to understand in detail how the breath is channeled into every area of the body. This segment also introduces the various ways that the breath is used therapeutically. Following pranayama, there is a segment on deep relaxation techniques, combined with breath and slow motion movements. This segment also focuses on the therapeutic benefits of Gitananda Yoga. These practices are based in part on Dr. Ananda's extensive exploration and research on the physiology of stress and relaxation. During lunch, which begins at 1 o'clock, students take turns serving food before taking lunch themselves. This allows them to feel the satisfaction that comes from serving others and from placing others before themselves. After lunch, students have free time until 4:30. Dr. Ananda explains that this free time is important for absorbing and assimilating all of the morning practices, as well as time to study the extensive course material, which totals over 400 pages. In their spare time, students can explore the 50-plus books written by Swami Gitananda, Ammaji, and Dr. Ananda. Some students also opt to receive Bharatanatyam dance classes from Dr. Ananda's wife, Devasena, during this afternoon rest. From 4:30 to 6 p.m., students meet in the Patanjali Kutir, an octagonal structure open to the sea breezes, to receive yoga philosophy and mantra teaching from Dr. Ananda. He begins the 6-month process of transformation, which is the heart of the Yoga Teacher Training Program, by providing a solid foundation in the Yoga Sutras in the 8 limbs, with a special focus on the yamas and niyamas. He later details many aspects of the Tantric tradition, including the use of mantra and yantra. The Gitananda tradition is unique in presenting detailed information on the use of numerology within the Tantric tradition. The final portion of the 6-month training focuses on the chakras as a model for the entire spiritual journey. After dinner, students experience a variety of classes, including Sanskrit, led by Devasena, who holds a master's degree in Sanskrit studies, as well as Carnatic singing classes, led by Dr. Ananda and Devasena. In the evenings, there are also inspiring satsangs with Ammaji. Ammaji's presence in itself cultivates deep calm and centering. In one evening class, she reminds us, no matter how turbulent life may seem, you can always find a place of comfort and solace in just 8 words. These are the 8 limbs of yoga. Ammaji reminds us that the ultimate purpose of yoga is to overcome all the obstacles in order to become that unique spiritual being, which is our destiny. At the end of the 6-month training program, students receive a yoga teacher training diploma, and those with a background in any of the medical sciences or an extensive foundation in anatomy and physiology also receive a yoga therapy certificate. Ammaji's desire to bring out the best in each person is clearly seen in the Gitananda tradition's focus on bringing yoga and Vedic culture to young people. This has been a main feature of their work since the founding of the Ananda Ashram in the early 70s. Since that time, more than 30,000 children have participated in and benefited from yoga, dance, and singing classes. Today, this important work with children is carried on by Yoganjali Natyalayam. This institution, located in the heart of Pondicherry, has 8 classrooms and serves over 600 children each week, making it one of the world's largest centers for teaching yogic and Vedic culture to children. The minimal course fees make these classes available to all levels of society, and for families who are in need, complete scholarships are offered. The institution also teaches traditional Carnatic singing, which develops confidence and self-esteem, especially for the young boys, and allows them to free their voices so that they may become tomorrow's leaders. Equally important is instruction in Bharatanatyam, traditional South Indian dance. Beginning in early childhood, boys and girls develop poise, grace, and balance, and reach adolescence with a greater sense of confidence and self-esteem. As Dr. Ananda comments, an important aspect of yoga therapy is prevention, and giving these young people direction and a sense of their culture improves their health for the rest of their lives. When the students become more advanced, they put on dance performances complete with music and Carnatic singing. As we watch these performances, we sense a vitality and energy that goes far beyond the movements of the dance. These young women have learned to embody the very heart and essence of their culture, the myths and legends of Shiva and Krishna, their connection to the earth and their ancestors, and most importantly, a sense of the spiritual essence within all things. Through the dance, this connection to Vedic culture is communicated, allowing them to feel and express in a language beyond words all that is India. One of the very special programs of Yoganjali Natyalayam is teaching yoga to special children. This work has been going on since 2000, guided by the inspiration and patience of yoga therapist Meena Ramanathan. Her work is a tribute to the unique integration of ancient wisdom and modern therapeutic knowledge, which the Gitananda tradition embodies. Not only has she brought these children to a level of yoga practice far beyond what anyone might have believed possible, she has instilled in them a sense of self-esteem and an ability to integrate into their community more fully. When we watch these children, we understand immediately the power of yoga, not only to transform them, but to transform all of us. This sense of a spiritual essence as the heart and soul of Indian culture is clearly seen on Sundays when the entire Bhavanani family, their students in the 6-month residential program, and members of the community meet at the Matam, the burial site of the 8 gurus in the Gitananda lineage. The puja for this lineage of gurus is blessed by the presence of Ammaji and performed by Dr. Ananda. Each of the gurus is honored in turn, and all present move in circles around each of the burial stupas, receiving the blessing of each guru in the lineage. The ceremony completes with the entire family, led at times by Dr. Ananda's children, Divya Priya and Anand Raj, who have embodied the Sanskrit hymns of their lineage. This weekly ceremony reminds all of us that within the Gitananda lineage, and in all of the therapy-oriented lineages of India, yoga is not an abstract concept. It flows through our souls and connects us to our own spiritual essence and to the power and mystery of the universe, which we awaken through the practice of yoga. For a more in-depth exploration of the Gitananda lineage, click on the full interviews with Ammaji, Dr. Ananda, and one of the students in their 6-month training program.